Here is an idea of how to plan your summative task. First of all, please make sure that you read the assessment notification and the rubric. They'll give you a lot more information about what needs to be there. You need to know the aspects of the structural frame and the subjective frame, the ones that we've done in class and studied in class, because the objective of this particular summative task is to demonstrate the skills and content that you've learnt in class. On this page is a checklist of a whole range of different things that you can include in your summative task. What I chose to do was break it down and give me some general categories, like the background designs, the paints, the extras, the techniques. Then I looked at composition. Are we going to draw our faces side by side? Are we going to jumble them up, or are we going to have them randomly done? So where are we going to put our pens on the paper when we start drawing our portraits? The other one is that I've got there is the foreground design, the types of paint for the foreground, and the extras. So I'm going to use different things like oil pastels, as well as acrylic paint and watercolors. But I'm also going to do a little bit of collage, because that was one of the techniques that we learnt in class. We also did some samples of some oil pastels, so I thought I would add those to my work as well. I've also got the frames listed because, we need to make sure that we're looking at both of those frames, the subjective and the structural. Subjective is about feelings, emotions, and moods, and the structural frame is about the elements, the structural elements, the things that go together to make up the particular artwork that we're going to be looking at and making. Once you have your work done and you've got your plan done, then when you turn over, you're going to start looking at the individual design. Now that means that you're going to sort of like map out what you're going to have on your section of the panel, because it's individual and it's a group mark. Now in this particular section you can see that what I've done is kind of isolated one portrait from the other, and on this one I'm going to start to decorate it in things that I am connected with. And so my group's theme is hobbies and pastimes. So I like art and reading and that sort of stuff and relaxing and that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add different things, and I'm going to have like my pastimes is like hanging out with my family as well, so I've got a big space for them. I've also got some things that I like to do, like books and palettes and paintbrushes, because they're my hobbies and my likes. I've also included an artwork there like Edvard Munch's The Scream, because I like different artworks, and because we're looking at portraits, that one seems to fit in really well. I've also broken up the background into different colours and different techniques, so you can see it on the left hand side. I've also got the foreground, which is me. So what colours am I going to choose to paint myself? And I'm going to do watercolours, I think, for myself, and acrylic paint for the background. And I'm going to use a Van Gogh style of swirls, which was one of our techniques as well. And he also did a lot of portraits, self-portraits with that swirl technique, so I'm going to keep that in mind as well. I also decided that I'm going to add a few words to my clothing, because I think that that's a really interesting way to tell things about me and make it a little bit more personal, and that fits the subjective frame really well. So hopefully when you start to plan out your work, you're going to add a lot more things. I've only got just a starting point, but if you can add probably about another 5 more things of what you might want to do, that'd be fantastic. The next thing we need to think about is the decisions I've made. Why did I make those particular decisions? Why did I make those choices? So this might take you more than one page, but I started by listing a few of the things, and I started by the structural frame, and I wrote down, I chose to use these lines because. So did I use soft flowy lines because I'm calm and relaxed and I just wanted to enjoy it? Or did I use jaggedy, sharp lines to show my emotions, maybe angry, or excitement, or anything along those lines? And then the colours will have a big play in that as well. So if you look further down, it says, I chose these colours because. Why would you choose those colours? What did you want the viewer to see by looking at those colours? This is all connected with the structural frame. I chose to do a little bit of collage by sticking on a photo of my family. Why did I choose to do the collage? Maybe it was because one of the techniques that we learnt in class, and you wanted to try it on your work and experiment a little bit more. Why did you choose that arrangement? These aren't the only questions, but there are a whole lot more. So I'm not going to give it all away by putting all the questions there about the structural frame, but I do want you to start thinking about why you made those decisions and start writing them out in your book. The next page is about the structural frame decisions that I made. Now, the structural frames deals with the feelings and emotions that are generated by the work and by the artist making the work. So I started off with a few sentence starters, same as the other page, and these aren't the only things. I want you to add to this list as well, and it might take you more than one page as well. I chose these colours because they're my favourite colour. I wanted to show that I'm calm and cool with all the blues and greens, or I wanted to show that I'm an energetic character with all the reds and oranges and yellows. I chose to add words because maybe they tell a little bit more about me. They might sum up who I am a little bit more. They might make things a little clearer for the reader or the viewer. You can have other things like, I chose to show this emotion in my work. I hope this emotion comes through in my work. The things that I started to do to show that were, and then you start answering that. Was it the colours, the brush strokes, the techniques, the different ways that you've applied the paint? Have you tried applying paint in a different way, like Van Gogh, where he has a lot of swirls and his work is very emotional, and he's very, there are a lot of wavy lines, and then you start looking at his emotions and like, how was he feeling at the time when he made it? And he had a lot of things going on, he was very uncertain, people weren't buying his work, so he was very confused, and he was felt a little bit vulnerable. So those wavy lines tend to show a little bit of that. Now, the other things you can add, what do you want the audience to walk away knowing about your artwork? What do they want to learn about you? Especially you, your emotions. What do the symbols really represent? Why did you include those things on there? Are they your favorite things to do? Because for my one, it's all about hobbies and pastimes. That was our group theme. So you need to really make sure that you're sticking with the theme and explaining everything. Because remember, your summative task is a demonstration of what you have learned over this project. So that means you need to go through your visual arts diary, see what we've done, how can you use everything in your visual arts diary for your summative task.